All right, so let's talk about subsequent events. And these are events that happen in between the fiscal year end and the financial statements. And the question is, do you need to disclose them? What do you need to do with them? If the reason for the loss contingency was from before the fiscal year ended, like something happened here, and I keep going back to lawsuits, but really it could be anything. Let's say if something terrible happened here, but you don't find out about it until here, but you know it might have an impact to the financial statements, then the idea is that you would record, you could record a loss. You could record a loss on the financial statements because they haven't been issued yet. Because the issue, the loss contingency, came from before the end of the fiscal period. Okay, so you could record, if you felt that you needed to, you could record the loss on the financial statements, even though, now alternatively, if something happens after year end, right? So here's your fiscal year end, and you've got some sort of, something happened, again, I keep going back to the lawsuits, but if something happened after the fiscal year end, but you still haven't issued the financial statements, well, you wouldn't record the liability because it didn't happen during the year that you're reporting on, but it did happen, so it's important. The idea is that what you would do then is you would issue something, some sort of disclosure in the financial statements, in the note section, saying, hey, this happened, and we just want you to be aware of it because it's, it might be material to the financial statements. So it depends on when this loss contingency happens, before the end of the year, after the end of the year. It's still a subsequent event because you really didn't find out about it until after the year ended, but it depends on how you'd record it. If you would record it as a liability if it happened here you wouldn't record it as a liability. I mean, that's only if you think it needs to be a liability would you record it, okay? I hope that was clear. All right. What if you have an unasserted claim? All right. This little diagram here kind of goes with what everything I've been talking about. What if you have an unfiled lawsuit or some sort of claim? The idea is it possible? Is a claim accessible? Or is it accessible and is it probable? Then yes, then you have to decide whether or not, what's the likelihood of this happening? What's the likelihood of needing to owe that money? You need to record a contingent liability. If you think it's going to be an unfavorable outcome, is probable and estimable. If you think either one of those things is not true, it's not, the claim is going to be bogus, it's not estimable, it's not probable, then you don't have to do anything. Okay? I kept using a lawsuit through all of my examples when I was talking, but this is really one of the first times you're seeing the slides give you a lawsuit as the example, and an unasserted claim would be a lawsuit that hasn't been filed yet. All right, so we talk loss contingency, loss contingency, loss contingency. What do we do? Well, what do we do if we think we have a gain, right? Let's look on the positive side. What happens if we're going to have a gain? Well, we're conservative. We're accountants. We don't record gains. All right? Even if we think a gain is absolutely going to happen, we are going to get that money, we are going to win that lawsuit, whatever the case may be, you don't get to record it until it actually happens. All right? Losses we record as soon as those rules have been met, but gains we don't ever get to record. That's just the rule of thumb. And that's the end of our chapter. I hope that this screencast helped you with some of the more complicated concepts, and I hope it helped clarify any of the issues you might have had with some of the more financial accounting types of concepts. All right, and I'll see you guys in the next chapter.